Hello everyone! Welcome back to Mystery Recaps. Today, I'm going to explain a movie named The Founder, which is based on the real-life story of Ray Kroc, a salesman who take over McDonald's from two brothers and turn it into the biggest restaurant business in the world with a combination of ambition, persistence, and ruthlessness. Before starting, be aware serious spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The movie starts in the year 1954. We see Ray Kroc, who is a salesman, struggling to sell Multimixer's milkshake machines to small drive-in restaurants across the country. However, no matter how hard Ray tries, he continues to strike out. His travels also put him at the mercy of small business food-serving techniques, which frequently take too long or get his order wrong. June Martino, Ray's secretary, confirms with a sales company in Chicago that a restaurant in San Bernardino, California, has ordered 6 of his machines. Ray calls the restaurant, thinking it must be an error, and informed that the order of 6 machines was incorrect, and that they really want to order 8. Ray drives to San Bernardino, where he discovers a small walk-up stand called McDonald's. Ray joins a long line and is surprised by how quickly his order is processed, the disposable food wrappings, and the number of small families ordering from the stand. Ray then meets with the stand's owners, Mac and Dick McDonald. Mac eagerly takes Ray on a tour of the small stand, explaining the exacting standards they use to prepare items as well as the custom-made serving tools that help them achieve their speedy service system. Ray learns about the brothers' history over dinner. They came to Hollywood to work in film and eventually open a movie theater, which was forced to close due to the Great Depression. They then opened a food stand in Monrovia, which was later relocated to San Bernardino, where their current food stand is. Realizing that selling hamburgers, French fries, and milkshakes generated the majority of their profits, the brothers decided to make these the only items their stand sells. Making it just a food stand also eliminated the loitering of teenagers seen at drive-in restaurants, and the disposable food packaging, reduced dish and silverware costs. To implement their speedy delivery system, the brothers and a group of employees spent an afternoon at a tennis court drawing chalk configurations on the courts to determine the most efficient layout for food preparation. Ray is fascinated by all of this information, and he soon proposes that the brothers franchise their restaurant. They both claim to have tried this in several areas, but had difficulty maintaining quality standards outside of their own. Ray notices a painting on the wall of an unusual building during the meeting. Mac explains that it was a design created by Dick and used in their Phoenix location. This sends Ray down to Phoenix, where he becomes obsessed with trying to convince the brothers of his idea after seeing the location and its golden arches. Soon after, a contract is drafted for the brothers and Ray, with a major stipulation that no franchise decisions or changes can be made without the brothers' approval. Ray quickly signs the paperwork and then heads to Des Plaines, Illinois, to open a McDonald's. Finding funding is difficult, and Ray is forced to mortgage. His home is leverage, but he does not tell his wife Ethel about this. When the Des Plaines location opens, Ray goes to great lengths to ensure that the operations run exactly as they did in San Bernardino. However, he clashes with them when he tries to get sponsorship money from Coca-Cola by putting their name on the menu boards. While Ray sees it as a great business opportunity, Dick McDonald claims that they will not commercialize their restaurant. Though Ray is excited about the new restaurant, his wife Ethel is still extremely skeptical of his latest venture. The two end up at a nearby country club, where Ray pitches the idea of McDonald's franchises to several men who are ready and willing to get in on the lucrative new business venture. Ray, on the other hand, quickly becomes enraged by the new franchisee's lack of quality control and attention to menu standards. One location even sells fried chicken. Ray tries to tell the franchisees to do better, but when he discovers that they don't seem to care about the franchise standards as much as he does, he cancels his and his wife's membership in the country club, much to her surprise, and looks for other ways to recruit new franchises. Ray soon realizes where he can get new franchises by appealing to the American working class after taking his wife to a VFW potluck and hearing from some people there. More franchises will emerge in the near future. Ray eventually attends the opening of a McDonald's restaurant in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Later that evening, at a posh restaurant, he meets with several men, including Rollie Smith, who wants to be a franchise owner as well. Ray attempts to expand beyond the Midwest, but runs into financial difficulties. The 1.4% of profits he agreed to isn't enough to live on, so he calls the brothers in the hopes of renegotiating, but they refuse. Ray also discovers that the refrigeration costs of storing ice cream in stores are eating his profit margins, and his wife discovers that he has mortgaged their home, causing further tension between them. Ray eventually visits Joan and Rollie's business. When Joan learns about Ray's refrigeration issues, she suggests they use a powdered milk mix that tastes exactly like a real milkshake. Ray eagerly proposes his cost-cutting idea to Dick McDonald after tasting the instant mix, but is once again refused. When Ray tries to get another loan to help with his financial problems, he meets a young man named Harry Sonnenborn. Sonnenborn is given access to the company's financials and quickly discovers a solution to Ray's financial problems. When it comes to franchises, Ray should buy the land where the McDonald's locations will be built. If he owns the land, the franchise owners can lease it from him, giving him not only monthly rent payments, but also having land control makes the franchises more adherent to quality control standards. Sonnenborn's suggestion is successful, and Ray soon changes the name of his company to Franchise Realty Corporation. When Dick McDonald calls to inquire about this, Ray claims that FRC is separate from McDonald's and is not covered by their contract. Ray also plans to have the franchises use Instant Mix to make milkshakes, which will lead in yet another upsetting call from Dick McDonald. Even though Dick claims they have a contract, Ray refuses to back down, claiming that contracts are meant to be broken just like hearts. During this time, Ray also hires lawyers to look into renegotiating his contract with the McDonald brothers at any cost. Ray's actions irritate the brothers even more when they receive a letter with the official letterhead the McDonald's Corporation and Ray's name listed as president. The two summon Ray, with Mac being the most outspoken about what Ray has done, causing Mac to go into diabetic shock. After Mac is admitted to the hospital, Ray arrives with flowers and a letter containing a blank check, a symbol indicating that Ray intends to buy out the brothers' share of the company. The brothers set their terms after recognizing they couldn't win a fight with Ray. They demand $2.7 million in cash, ownership of the San Bernardino store, and 1% of the company's profits. While Ray is willing to sign off on almost everything, he insists that the 1 percentage point deal be done on a handshake, which the brothers agree to. Following the negotiations, Dick runs into Ray in the restroom and questions the man that he'd given everything he learned about their company and how it was run. Why didn't Ray just steal their idea and open his own restaurant? Ray claims that such an action would have failed, and that what Dick and Mac had enticed him was not only because of the system in place, but also because of the name. Ray thought the name McDonald's was all-American and appealing to the general public. Ray opens a new McDonald's franchise directly across the street, forcing the McDonald brothers to remove their own name from the original restaurant. The film ends in 1970, with Ray preparing a speech in his opulent mansion with his new wife, Joan. Ray praises himself for his success in the speech, heavily plagiarizing from a motivational speech he heard earlier in the film. He claims he was able to do so not through talent or a strong work ethic, but through persistence. An epilogue reveals that the McDonald brothers were never paid the royalties, which would have eventually been in the area of $100 million a year, and that everyday McDonald's feeds approximately 1% of the Earth's population.